Ladies and gentlemen, what's good, y'all? It's the Chillmeister Chris Gary. It's Mike Soltez from the great city of Cleveland, Ohio. And you are watching and listening to a I don't know if I should even say this anymore, very special edition of Focus Fights Audio. No, this is the Ryzen 51 preview edition of Focus Fights Audio. As you probably may have already heard, Ryzen 51 is happening this weekend from the brand new, I guess I would say brand new because it's only been around for secretly about 5 months, but brand new IG Arena, as in IG, like Instagram, but not IG like that. The IG Arena from Nagoya, Aichi, Japan. The event will kick off with the prelims taking place at 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Pacific on Ryzen.tv, bleeding into the main card, which will start
Does
at
it start at 10:30? No, is it 11:30 p.m. Eastern, or is it 10:30 because of the time difference?
Actually, the prelims start at 11 a.m. JST, which, in
Would
case
be 10 a.m. would be 10 p.m. our time. I thought it was 10:30. I
yeah,
thought it was 11:30.
it would. Yeah, the prelims start at 11 p.m. JST on the Ryzen Fighting Federation YouTube channel. That would mean 10 p.m. Eastern in your time zone, 9 p.m. in mine, which is the Central time zone.
Actually, Christian, I'm looking at the it says opening fight 11. The doors open at 11 a.m. Japan time. The opening fight start at 11:30, so it will be 10:30 Eastern time. PM Eastern time. That's when and 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. That's when the opening fights start.
Yeah, and then the main card will start at 1300 hours JST, which for many over here, it's midnight Eastern,
Yes.
9 p.m. Pacific.
Yes.
Still though, all the action you can check out available in crystal clear high definition for the good price of about $20 standalone, or get the Ryzen Premium Pass bundle for $15.99 on Ryzen.tv. And we got 14 fights taking place. But first of all, before we even get this going, and Takumi Furuhata is saying, hi,
hey.
Konnichiwa, genki desu ka? How are you, Takumi? Thank you for joining us. But still, though, before we even talk about these fights that are going to be taking place on this card, and no, we will not put over the 4 prelim fights that are going to be taking place, including the one fighter with a weird name that kind of reminds me of a television show that's currently on the air. But still, though,
I was going to say that the one intriguing thing about that is that Shuto Sato, who's been on a lot of Ryzen undercards in kickboxing, is making his MMA debut. I am intrigued. He's a decent striker, not great, but decent. So I'm kind of intrigued how his game, coming from shoot boxing, how his game may be able to translate to MMA, considering that, there are throws and standing submissions in shoot boxing. So he does have a little bit of a base in that sense.
Yeah, of course. It'll be definitely interesting to see somebody like Shuto, as in Syuto, Sato, really compete and really make his way around the sport of MMA. And another person I'd be looking forward to watching, and yeah, I know this is the first fight, and we're going to be talking about the main events on down from this point forward, but the first fight that I'm going to be interested in is Tetsuya Yamato versus Takahiro Okuyama. Now, in case many of y'all didn't know, Tetsuya Yamato is the former Lion Fight super lightweight champion. For those of y'all who watched all those old kickboxing fights on Access TV back in the day. But he was the guy who took the Soul Assassin Kevin Ross to his limit. And now he's coming into MMA against the current shoot boxing world champion in Takahiro Okuyama. I think that's going to be a fight that's going to set the pace for the entire show.
I agree. And also with Tetsuya Yamato, he won, I can't remember off the top of my head the kilograms, what division it was, but he won that only or the inaugural K1 World Max title in his weight class term in his weight class in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
That Japan tournament. I believe he knocked out Kizemon Saiga, amongst other people. So, and then he is a former K1 world champion, the current iteration of K1. He is a former world champion as well at his weight. So he's a very solid credentialed Muay Thai fighter coming over to MMA.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking down the list now. He is the 2010 K1 World Max, 140-pound Japan tournament champion. 140 pounds is 63 kilos.
Yeah.
And more recently, he won the K1 World Grand Prix Super Lightweight Championship back in 2022 before leaving K1.
Yes.
But still, though, it's going to be something interesting for him, especially considering the fact that I have not seen him compete since his days fighting in Las Vegas for Lion Fight. So it's going to definitely be something to behold. And I know that Michael Schiavello definitely is going to be enjoying himself watching that. I mean, he most definitely watched those fights.
Oh, absolutely. He commentated that tournament. I think he may have commentated. I know Yamato was in one at one point as well, if I remember right.
Looking down the list, thankfully, no, he was.
I thought he was in one.
He was not a part of that damned one championship.
I guess not. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else, but I swear to God, I thought he had been there once. But
still, though, I mean, it's kind of odd when you think about K1 and not seeing fighters go to 1FC. Because when you think about it, a lot of these fighters nowadays, and Shintaro Matsukura.
Yeah, the latest one.
Wait a minute. He is going to 1FC, the Japanese-American fighter?
I know he left K1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, that's another champion.
I mean, because he is training with Masaaki Noiri.
Yeah, Team Vasilius, I believe it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, like that's another discussion today about K1. But I was going to say this card overall, it's a excellent card. Like I'm really impressed with Rizin that they have this many competitive fights and just good fighters in general on the Nagoya card. I would imagine it's because they are in the IG arena and not Dolphins arena. And it's a bigger venue, and you want to put your best foot forward in the new venue, and because it's a major show. Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, the IG Arena, which is the Aichi International Arena for, long-term purposes, but this venue has only been around in actuality since April when East American singer Ai Uemura, the person who performed Kana Asakura's theme, Happiness. She basically performed the de facto first performance there as an acoustic test. Then in May, they had like the first part of the Summer Basho for Sumo.
Mm-hmm.
Then just 10 days ago, as of the time of this recording, Naoya Damasu Inoue knocked out. Well, actually, he didn't knock out. He
dominated.
He defeated MJ Akhmadaliev to retain his world titles.
Mm-hmm. And also Yoshiki Takei getting knocked out in the fourth round.
Oh yeah, against Christian Medina.
Yeah, that was nasty and that was unexpected.
But to be honest, this venue is gonna seat somewhere in the neighborhood of 17,000. It actually looks like a Japanese version of what Crypto.com Arena or Staples Center for the Uninhibited would look like in Los Angeles, because they also had a basketball game for the local team from the B League.
Mm-hmm. I forgot what the Nagoya team is called, but I've seen them before.
I think the Red Diamonds, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. But I mean, either way, this is a phenomenal card, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, of course. And by the way, it's not the Red Diamonds, it's the Diamond Dolphins. But still, though.
That's right.
Point of the matter is, there's 14 fights on the main card, 18 in total. We're going to talk about these fights from the main event on down. And I guess considering the fact that we already talked about the first fight, that's going to be taking place on this card. Tetsuya Yamato versus Takahiro Okuyama.
Yeah. And for the record, I'm going with Yamato to win that fight.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if that fight ends up being a firefight that sets the bar early for this fight card. But because we already talked about Yamato versus Okuyama, we can disqualify ourselves from talking about that and just move on to talking about the rest of the card, which, of course, main event. Roberto Satoshi de Souza defends his Rizin lightweight title in, I think, his 4th or 5th title defense against UFC veteran, hands for hire. I don't want to say the whole rest of the thing, but Yoshinori Horie.
It's a family show. Come on.
I know. But still, though, point of the matter is Roberto Satoshi de Souza will be defending his Rizin lightweight title for the 5th time. I don't think there's been any more consistent champions who have fought in recent memory that have had that many title defenses of one title in MMA, especially considering the fact that Roberto wants to be considered among the best, but he's not getting the recognition to be the best. You know what I mean?
I do. And when we were discussing it, comes down to a decision. One, do we know how many fights are left on his Rizin deal?
Good question.
2, I think if he beats Horie, I'm sure he would. I believe he said if the money is right, he would go to the UFC. He is 36 years old. He is getting up there in age. If he's not he's still very good. He might be a little past his prime physically, but he's still very good. I do think he'd be able to maybe break into the top 15, maybe top 10. I don't think he's world champion caliber for the UFC. There's too many good fighters at lightweight, but he certainly wouldn't embarrass himself. And I do think he deserves an opportunity to be in that promotion. But the question is it going to really be worth his while? Because I doubt UFC would pay him anywhere near what I'm sure Rizin is paying him.
Yeah, exactly. Especially considering the fact that if you look at somebody like Roberto, he's on a 5-fight winning streak. All 5 of his fights have ended in some form or fashion in the first round.
Yes.
I mean, who's not going to want a fighter like him, especially considering how dominant they've been in the Rizin Fighting Federation at 12-2? And yes, I will count that first loss of those 2 being against AJ McKee at Rizin 40. But still, though, dude is 12-2 inside the Rizin ring or cage, and he's basically been dominant in Rizin for most of the last 6 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. He deserves, if he wants to go to UFC, I would love him to, but the issue is, one, with how they structure their contracts. Are they willing to pay someone who's in their mid-30s and doesn't really have, outside of Japan, that much in hardcore fans recognition, and the money that Satoshi Souza's making probably in Rizin? So is it worth it for Satoshi? Because the UFC sticks to their guns when it comes to how they pay fighters. That's just how it's structured under TKO at this point. So if I'm Satoshi and I don't get a decent offer, if he wins this fight, if I were Satoshi and I get a decent offer, yes, I would go to the UFC if my contract is up. If I don't get if it's not worth the while, I'll just finish my career in Japan.
I mean, that would make sense, especially considering the fact that, in a way, you shouldn't want to. If the best in the world don't want you, you should have some of the best come to you.
Yes. Yeah. And I do think there's enough lightweights out there. Rizin it's not a great division, but it's a decent division. And I do think they are bringing in, is it Karshiga Daubek's brother for the next Landmark show against Saika?
I mean, I'm going to have to check because that's news to me if I'm just now thinking about it. I mean,
I thought I saw somewhere that was Karshiga Daubek's brother. I could be wrong, but it's definitely I'm pretty sure it's a Kazakh who's fighting Yambo Saika.
Tatsuya Yambo Saika will be taking on Nurkan Zumagazi.
Mm-hmm. So at least it's a new face at lightweight. So it means that they're still committed to building that division. So I just think Satoshi's pretty much run out of opponents other than building people up. I mean, it got to the point where they had to get Bugar Karamov to move up, and to be blunt, he looked blown up on New Year's Eve last year.
Like he wasn't fighting in his natural weight class.
Absolutely not. He looked a lot bigger, and not in a good way.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's just face facts on this fight here. We obviously know that Poirier doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell when it comes down to winning this fight. But
that I disagree with.
Okay. How?
I think Poirier is the better technical striker. So if Satoshi gets sloppy, Poirier has a very good right hand, and Satoshi does not move his head enough. So if Satoshi is upright and he walks into something, Poirier can knock him out. Poirier can punch. But yes, I do. He has a puncher's chance. Will he win? Probably not, but it would be an upset, but I do give Poirier a shot.
Mm-hmm. Now you have to wonder. Obviously, we are saying that Roberto is running out of opponents.
Yes.
But one opponent that should be, waiting in the wings, potentially for a future title shot, is Shunta Nomura, who beat up Patricio Pitbull, I think it was, in the last.
Yes, and he beat Gustavo.
Yeah.
And I know that Patricky is not what he once was, but that still is a quality win.
Mm-hmm, exactly. But when it comes down to future sightlines, is Shunta Nomura a potential title contender?
Yes, I think he'd be the obvious choice for New Year's Eve, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I won't be surprised if
There's not much more. Like Satoshi's literally almost cleaned the division out.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like any foreign fighters who, again, they don't want to go fight in a second-tier promotion. They want to basically fight the best. Why not have the best come to Satoshi? But, no foreigners aren't going to even point out who Roberto Satoshi de Souza is, from a hole in the ground, so to speak.
No, because most people want to go to the UFC or the paycheck of the PFL.
Oh God! Don't even get me started with them.
I'm just saying, like those two. One has the prestige, the other has enough money.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to compete with that, particularly with Gaikokujin, foreign fighters.
Yeah, Gaijins, of course. But still, though, speaking of Gaijins, and very tough ones at that, we have Rajabali Shaidulayev in his first official title defense against Viktor Kolesnik. This one for the Rizin Featherweight Championship of the world. And it's featuring two fighters from that former Soviet bloc. Of course, Shaidulayev is the younger opponent, the more undefeated opponent at that. He is 24 years of age, born October 11th in the year 2000 out of Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan by way of Zergetal, Tajikistan.
Tajik.
Yeah, Tajik and Kyrgyz.
Didn't know that.
A literal walking contradiction. But still, though, point of the matter is this dude is a monster. Out of the 15 wins he has, 10 of those are by way of first round finish. 5 of those are by way of second round finish. But in Rizin, this dude's been a stone cold killer. He has 3 of his 4 wins via first round finish. That fourth win against Yuta Kubo was basically something that he had to, win from behind, so to speak. Punches from the back mount. But still, though, 62 seconds was all Rajabali took to basically reap the benefits away from Kleber Koike to win that Rizin Featherweight title. I mean, to be honest, I won't be surprised if something like this happens again. But then you got Viktor Kolesnik, who is 26-4-1, fighting out of Krasnodar, Russia. No, Krasnodar, Dagestan, Russia. He is also undefeated in Rizin. He's 4-0, but to be honest, only 2 of his wins have come by way of finish. One first round knockout, more recently against Kisuke Sasuke, and the other against Atsushi Kishimoto in his Rizin debut back 2 years ago when he gave him a calf kick knockout.
Yeah, and also beat Ryo Takagi.
Yeah, and Yoshiki Nakahara. Both of those fights were via decision. But still, though, when it comes down to his finish total, out of his 25 wins opposite 4 losses and 1 defeat, 16 of those wins are by way of finish. But he's more of a submission fighter more than anything. So that leads me to the question of both of these fighters are known finishers, but what's the over-under on how long this bout lasts?
I would say round 2.
I mean, to be honest, I would have to agree with you because I do not think this one's going to go to the judges' scorecards.
I don't either.
I mean, I do think that this fight might last until midway through the second round. But still, though, when it comes down to this fight, I mean, it's like I said, Shadulayev's been a known monster, especially in Rizin.
Yes, and has displayed all kinds of skills, striking, grappling, submissions, just the whole package.
But if he beats Kolesnik handily in that second round finish, which we're predicting right now, we're kind of speaking
I think he'll win by KO in the second round. I think he'll wear Kolesnik out. I just think he's too athletic, too solid, and just better in all aspects.
Okay. But still, though, let's just say if Shadulayev does win that fight by the, time and total we're predicting, I mean, let's just say, is there anybody that could potentially take out this guy? Because this dude is a monster. Oh, no. I mean,
no. Like if I'm Rizin and you're confident that he's ready and he's not, Akimoto is probably the only one that I can think of you could actually maybe draw tickets with. And even then, I mean, I suppose you could have Shadulayev move up to lightweight because I do think he will at some point. I suppose there have been, I thought I read on, what is it? Gong that Mikuru may want a title fight.
Just no. I don't
think. But I'm just saying if I read it right. But yeah, Shadulayev, I think, to be honest, I think he's fast track for the UFC.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, but then again, if you're Rizin, I mean, if you keep Shadulayev around long enough and Mikuru saying that he wants a title shot, everybody know Mikuru gonna get steamrolled no matter how much they believe he thinks he's gonna win.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I don't think there's anyone. I think, long story short, I think Shadulayev has that belt on lockdown for a while.
Oh, yeah. But it all depends on who Rizin gonna have to face off against him because you're saying Kiyoma Akimoto is the future of the domestic Japanese division in Rizin. I mean, especially considering the fact that Mikuru doesn't have much shelf life left.
No.
And I don't know how many foreign talent they're going to get to face off against another foreign talent if Shadulayev is just steamrolling through everybody left, right, and center.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could build up the winner of Ryo Takagi and oh my god, I'm blanking on, I can't pronounce this damn guy's name.
Let me go.
Kisa Miyake, that's who.
Yeah, Kisa Miyake.
So, I mean, that's an intriguing match, but I'm saying, like, you could maybe build one of those two up. But I just don't see a lot of, I mean, maybe if he's decent, Yuel Huang, who's fighting Hiroaki Suzuki later. I mean, there are a few new fighters, at least at featherweight. So, but Shadulayev has been so dominant. Like, what are you really going to do with him after this fight?
I mean, to be honest, all you got to do is keep him busy. Don't let him slip through the cracks. Don't let him go straight to the big land of the three letters. And I'm not talking specifically about the UFC. I'm talking specifically about TKO Group Holdings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a whole different story with them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But still, should be an interesting fight. And
it's a phenomenal. This is a phenomenal match. It's one of the best matches that Rizin has ever made in its almost 10-year history. It's that good of a match. This is better than most fight night main events, to be blunt.
I mean, come to think of it, Aniki MMA did say in the interview I had with him, which is on the latest episode of Focus Fights Audio. If you're listening to this, go back and check that out. But he did say that Shadoulayev and John Lord Silva, top 15 in the UFC, that would make a good future fight night main event. But for right now, I would just want to see Shadoulayev stay in Rizin as long as possible, just to build himself up, kind of like the featherweight equivalent to Jiri Prochazka.
Yeah, I would like to see him in Rizin for another year or two, because I don't think he's I think he's UFC ready, but I don't think he's top 10 ready yet, if that makes sense.
Same here. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the Flyweight Grand Prix semifinal fights. First of all, we got Hiromasa Okikubo taking on Alibek Gadzhamatov. And in the second fight, we got, and I know that Andrew's going to get on me for saying this guy's full name, Makoto Shinryu Takahashi versus Yuki Motoya, the former Rizin and Bellator title challenger, current Cage Fury and Deep champion, versus the former two-division Deep champion in Motoya. But still, though, when it comes down to the first semifinal, Okikubo versus Alibek, let's just say, and this is a two-part question, if Hiromasa defeats Alibek, considering his past and his career always being the bridesmaid but never the bride.
Horiguchi.
Oh, yeah, of course. If he does win this particular fight, will New Year's Eve be a prophecy fulfilled for him? And on the flip side, if Gadzhamatov steamrolls through Okikubo, I mean, we just talked about Rajabali Shadoulayev being a force at featherweight. Could Alibek, the future of Dagestani MMA, be a force at flyweight? Should he beat Okikubo?
I would say yes to both. One, I think Okikubo is the best fighter still left in the tournament. His wrestling is, as we know, top notch. Maybe not the most aesthetically pleasing to watch, but damn, is it effective? I think that's, and he's the little engine that does not get tired, usually. And I think that describes his game to a T. Alibek, for me, I thought his grappling was fine. I thought his striking it's better. I think it's better than Okikubo. My issue with him is that Soya hit him a lot. I did not think his head movement or his technique was great. It's just that Soya just doesn't move his head, period. And Alibek can punch like hell, as I just said, and that bailed him out. But against Okikubo, that's not going to happen. He's going to have to be a lot more technically sound in order to catch Okikubo and win this fight, barring something unexpected. He's going to for his sake, I hope he's worked on his grappling, because Okikubo is going to try to wrestle the hell out of him.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you look at Okikubo, you say that he's top notch. I mean, he's definitely more for getting the most, not the lesser, to coin a phrase from an old song from my neck of the woods. But still, though, when it comes down to Okikubo and his path to the Flyweight Grand Prix, I mean, to be honest, he's currently on a 3-fight winning streak. And all 3 of those wins more recently were to some tough competition in John Dodson, Makoto Shinryu, and John Torres, all via decision. Yes. I mean, this dude hasn't had a finish since all the way back in 2017 when he was still with Shudo.
Yeah, he's not a finisher, but he's effective. He knows what he has to do, and as I said, it may not be the most exciting to watch, but it gets the job done. So it is what it is with him. And it's up to his opponent. It's up to Gadzamatov to execute his game plan and offset that wrestling. Whether he can do that, we'll see.
Yeah, but in a way, Gadzamatov is a known finisher.
He is.
He might not have been able to truly. I mean, he has been able to truly show it in Rizin, getting a first round knockout victory over Daichi Kitakata.
Which, let's be honest, Kitakata was on a losing streak and was a blown up strawweight.
And yeah, when you basically come up from the pack mule division, it's just basically more known that you are blown up. But he also got a win in his first round fight in the flyweight Grand Prix over Takaki Soya, which
excellent fight.
I mean, yeah, you say it was an excellent fight.
Phenomenal.
And those fights that still show it Super Rizin 4.
Oh, absolutely. But like I said, he got hit a lot, and Ogi Kubo is much more elusive than Soya is, and he's not going to strike with Gadzamatov.
Oh yeah, of course he's not, because if Ogi Kubo, is smart, he will basically stuff in takedowns and try to prevent all those heavy grappling exchanges from happening. I mean, for all those heavy striking exchanges from happening.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, you have to use that grappling in order to prevent all that strike fest happening, because, I don't want it to basically be like, Josh Koscheck versus, oh, hello, I guess he kind of gotten off. So I guess I can go ahead and continue by saying, this fight continues. Hopefully he doesn't make it like a grapple heavy fest. I mean, a fucking grapple fest, and turn it into 15 minutes of shame. Now, let's see here. Is he here? No, I'm just going to wait for him. Oh, that's the stage. He's
sorry, my internet went out momentarily.
It's okay. I mean, I understand, but still, the point I was trying to make was, hopefully, for the course of those 3 rounds, if necessary, that dude does not make it into a grapple fest, so to speak. Like how Paul Daly versus MVP Michael Venom Page that Andrew keeps referencing as the 15-minute grapple fest?
Might be. I honestly don't remember.
I mean, it's okay. I'm pretty sure nobody does. It's so far off in people's memories. Another fight that we can go ahead and make mention of, Yuki Motoya versus Makoto Shinryu Takahashi. Again, keep mentioning that name.
Both are versatile. Both are really good at all aspects, I think.
But still, though, when you look at Makoto Shinryu, dude's mostly a points fighter. I mean, a lot of his wins are by way of decision, but he got a submission win in the first round over Ersin Yamamoto, and holy crap, dude, you're gonna basically hear the vitriol in my voice when we get to Ersin Yamamoto versus Yuki Ito.
Yeah, that was for more reasons than one, but that was one of the more baffling finishes I've seen.
Exactly. But then again, you look on the other end of the spectrum, Yuki Motoya beat Hiroya Kondo. Of course, all I remember out of that fight was Billy Bigelow saying to Hiroya, "You're going to be a champion. You're going to be a champion one day. It just takes time." I mean, that fight didn't look like Hiroya was at his best, and Yuki made sure of that, right?
I thought it was fine. I just thought Yuki's superior grappling and experience won the day, honestly. I didn't think it was that great of a fight, but...
And I mean, to be honest, when we look at this fight, it's definitely age versus experience. No, youth versus experience in this case. And, Takumi is basically asking you, Mike, I see a portrait behind you. Is this drawing style from somebody that's Japanese or something that
I did. It's a caricature of me and my wife.
Oh, that looks so cute. But
Tsumato watashi.
Hi.
My wife and I.
Right, of course. But still, though, going back to this particular fight, it's obviously youth versus experience. Shinryu, 25 years of age, just turned 25 about a couple of months ago. Motoya is 36, born September 14th, 1989. He just celebrated a birthday 10 days ago. But still, though, point of the matter is, when you look at the experience, the amount of experience that Motoya has, obviously he's Mr. Deep Fangaista, as he's called. I mean, the dude's a 2-division former Deep champion. Do you think that if he were to win this fight, I mean, this may be similar to the prophecy fulfilled theory for Ogi Kubo, but if Motoya wins this fight, considering the fact that he lost to Naoki Inoue back on March 20th at Rising 50, I mean, is there a such thing as him getting a second chance at the belt?
Absolutely. I mean, I think he's going to win this fight. I do think he's too experienced. I think his experience and his striking, I think, will be the difference here. Because Motoya's got good wrestling, but his boxing has improved immensely since his knockout loss to Kenta Takizawa several years ago.
That crazy to think about, because
4 years. It's been 4 years already.
Yeah, 4 years exactly.
Mm-hmm. But that is it's a testament to Yuki, because, as I said, he outboxed Hiroya. I thought he was able to strike with Inoue pretty. I thought he held his own with Inoue, who just dominated Ryuya Fukuda with just his left jab, essentially. So I think that's a good sign. It's gonna just. I think they're gonna negate each other's grappling, and it's gonna be a stand-up fight.
I see. And for Shinryu, who is the lesser experienced of the two, even though he's a former Cage Fury champion and a former deep flyweight champion, he beat the guy who took Tenshin Nasukawa to his limit, and that would be Yamato Fujita, who's currently excelling in UAE Warriors.
Why he's not in Ryzen, I have no clue.
Exactly. But still, though, point of the matter is, for Makoto, what do you think that he'll probably be able to do in this fight should it go his way?
He's going to be able to take Motoya. He would need to be able to take Motoya down and out-grapple him, and grapple to a decision. Because I do think he's good enough to avoid Motoya's submissions if it gets there. And I would think he is the better wrestler, but Motoya, to me, is the more well-rounded fighter. And I think that's where, and I think Motoya's grappling and wrestling is good enough to where it'll negate Shinryu's advantage. Whereas I think it'll stay standing the majority of the time. And as I said, I think Yuki is the better boxer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he'll win. And I think he'll win by a decision with with superior striking and technique.
Yeah, of course. Totally understandable. Now, when it comes down to the Berserk fight.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God. Why? Why is Ersin Yamamoto even considered for this particular fight? I mean, I know that Aniki told me that they want more fighters like Taisei Nishitani. They want more fighters like Hiroya Kondo. They want more fighters, from stuff like Breaking Down, or people with known names who could basically put asses in seats.
Because at the end, with all due respect, at the end of the day, it's as much entertainment as it is a sport.
Yeah,
and this fight has a storyline because Ersin beat Yuki Ito a couple of years ago, I believe, or was a year ago, or whatever it was. But he's beat him before.
It was 2 years ago at Rising 42. He beat Yuki Ito via unanimous decision.
Yes, and that is why this fight was booked. They're trying to build Ito up, and that's why I think Ersin got it. There's a built-in storyline, whereas with the deepest respect with the deepest respect to Shorty Torres, there's no storyline involving him yet.
That's because he's currently fighting in Brave CF.
Right.
There's still no storyline for a fighter like John Dodson, who's currently under contract to BKFC, because they were pissed about him fighting in Rising to the point that they had to make an interim belt.
So why did they even bother making why did BKFC even bother making that agreement if they only did it one or two times?
Because they want to be just like the big 3-letter promotion that we can't really put over. They want to have exclusivity over their fighters until they ran their course with them.
Well, from judging from a lot of their shows, with all due respect, it seems like they choose fighters who have already ran their course.
Yeah, no shit. But still, though, point of the matter is, when it comes down to this particular fight, and I have my gripes about this, I do not think that Ersin Yamamoto will even... I mean, let's just say Ito lost because he kind of underestimated Ersin. I don't think...
But that being said, and I agree with Andrew on this, it is what it is, but the way they decided this was stupid.
Yeah, it kind of is. And I don't think that Ersin's going to last 2 rounds in this case if he is lucky. I mean, he'll be lucky to even sniff a 3rd round in this case.
I would argue differently, because Ito got dominated wrestling-wise, and Shinryu dominated him wrestling-wise. So if he hasn't improved that takedown defense, Ersin could wrestle him to a decision.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Ito will win by knockout in the 3rd. I think he's going to wear Ersin down with pressure, but he better have worked on his takedown defense.
I mean, come to think of it, you wouldn't be wrong, because 8 of Ito's 19 wins are by way of knockout. And yeah, he didn't really have the best performance against Nkazimulo Zulu.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought he showed a lot against Zulu. I thought Zulu was going to beat him.
Right, of course. But still, though, point of the matter is, there's a reason why he was put on the reserve fight, because of the fact that they didn't think that... I mean, the Japanese fans love good effort. It's always like what I say. If you fight worth the damn, you will be brought back in Rising. But I think in this case, Ito was having a good fight on a night full of great fights, and he was the odd man out.
Yeah, agreed. And I just think that, as I said, I think that lottery system or that voting system was stupid to punish a winner of a fight. But, it is what it is. And if Ito wins, I hope he would get the first title shot.
Yeah, hopefully so. Because if they had a wide wealth of talent in this flyweight Grand Prix, they wouldn't have made it a 10-man tournament. They would have made it a 16-man tournament.
Yeah, but also I understand why you don't do one-nighters anymore, because 1, people get injured, and 2, fighters don't want to train for 2 fights in a night usually. That's based on everything I've heard over the last few years. So they just don't want to do it anymore. Not to mention Ryzen was really pissed that Kai broke his damn hand.
And he couldn't continue.
Or he was compromised against Ogi Kubo that night.
Yeah, that kind of sucked, to be honest. But still, though, it's also why, you're not hearing from Jay Wolf on this particular episode, because if he were on here, he would definitely gawk about the fact that, this should have been a one-night Grand Prix. It should have been an 8-man one-night tournament, and these men would have fought in the semifinals that night or something like that.
And I would counter, if 8-man tournaments, if a one-night Grand Prix was the thing, K1 will be selling oodles of tickets.
Probably.
And right now, they're not so much.
Come to think of it, they don't even know how to do a good television deal. Taking the train off the tracks just a little bit, they have a show coming up in Fort Worth, Texas this weekend, promoting with a promotion down in North Texas called Husky Fat Promotions, which will mark the first K1 event in North America since 2012. I haven't seen any promotion from the K1 side of things. I haven't even seen them put over the fact that it's going to be Husky Fat doing the promoting for the pay-per-view.
There's a pay-per-view?
Yes, there is a pay-per-view for Husky Fat Promotions and K1, Texas versus the World. Is this Friday, September 26th, as the time we are recording this. And it's going to be live on huskyfatpromotions.com. If you ain't got it, go get it. Well, go get it, but get it at your own risk. But still, though, I think what K1 is probably missing out on is good promoting. That's why they're not getting deals done here in the Western Hemisphere.
Right. I'm just saying, like, if 8-man Grand Prix were a hit like that, then K1 would be selling better. It's about the stories. It's about who you put in them.
Yeah, exactly. And when it comes down to it, stark contrast, the Flyweight Grand Prix has had a hell of a lot of good stories as far as, how it's gone. Even though, 10-man tournament really hasn't done so well, but it's definitely done well for all that it was given.
Yes.
Now, that's a stark contrast from the dud we're about to talk about. And this, let's just say, thank God this heavyweight Grand Prix is about to be over.
Yeah, it's been a disaster.
An unmitigated one at that.
And not the promotion, and it's not Rizin's fault in this case because they can't control the mat. They can't control the effort of the fighters, but still.
Exactly. It's Marek Samochiyuk versus Alexander Soldatkin in the heavyweight Grand Prix finals. Now, just to give a little clarification, Marek Samochiyuk, 9-4 overall. 4 of his 9 wins are by way of knockout. He represents KSW, fighting out of Poland. More specifically, Baka Podlaska, Poland, representing Unique Fight Club. As far as his record goes, he went from a 5-3 KSW representative to winning 2 fights in the Rizin Heavyweight Grand Prix. A dismal performance against the American Predator Daniel James that landed a bomb at the Tokyo Dome worser than Wrestle Kingdom in its heyday. Worser than Wrestle Kingdom in its early days, so to speak. And then he beat Jose Augusto, but really dominated him in that second fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then inexplicably didn't go after his leg more.
Yeah, of course. His opponent, the Russian-German representing the Croatian promotion, Alexander Soldatkin, 16-5 overall. Most of his wins, 10 in total, are by way of knockout, with a good chunk of them in the first round. He represents Fitfire Gym, fighting out of Berlin, Germany, by way of Toyati, Russia, representing Fight Night Croatia, which, again, contradiction aside, the dude is basically like the United Nations of MMA. Well, actually, no, not the United Nations, the European Union of MMA. But still, though, he was the odd man out of this tournament, having the only first round fight in this tournament take place in a cage, beating Hexagon MMA heavyweight champion Prince Al Nala at Rizin Landmark 11, then knocking out Mikio Ueda, who had the only bright spot of the first round with a leg kick knockout. Ueda got knocked out himself in the second round.
Yep. And with that, any hope of the of people caring about the tournament, domestically speaking?
Yeah. Now I can think of 1,000 questions of why I think this dud deserves to finally die. And we all know that it's going to lead to the biggest dud of them all, and that's having to fight Ryan Bader on New Year's Eve. But You know, when it comes down to this thing, the two questions I got are, has this thing been an overall certified dud? And between the two people who are left standing, who has the better advantage against Ryan Bader?
First off, yes, I think it has been a dud, aesthetically and business wise. Just without Ueda or Shibasai or Sudario, there's no one for the domestic Japanese audience to care. Just because they're heavyweights doesn't mean anything at this point, and their performances haven't helped. And out of both of them, I would say Soldatkin probably has the better shot because he's more versatile than Samolchek, I think. Better striker and grappler, whereas Samolchek is the better wrestler, I think. I'm going to go with Soldatkin to win this by knockout, but I can't say I'm really enthused about either.
I mean, come to think of it, I can't really be like, I hope both fighters lose because it's Rising. You don't get draws in MMA.
I mean, you could get a no contest.
Oh, yeah, of course, if you come in a little bit overweight, but still, though.
Or get incapacitated by a ball shot.
Oh, yeah, good one. Going back to that damn K1 fight with Sina Karimian versus Blake Troop. I mean, seeing a rematch of that fight would be a hell of a lot more interesting than seeing this fight.
Yeah, and just to make sure, I don't know, do a kickboxer style.
Like what, 3-minute rounds?
No, have them use what the hell is it? The glove, the hands dipped in glass, the tape fist dipped in glass.
Oh, I think I get what you mean. You
the final bet, the last fight in the first Kickboxer.
Oh, right, of course. But still, though, point of the matter is, when it comes down to this fight, I wish I could just be a complete ass and just say, I hope both fighters lose. But again, since there are no draws in Rising Fighting Federation Mixed Martial Arts, I guess I would have to pick, if I would have to pick a winner, you know, gun to back, I would say I would pick Soldatkin. Especially because of the fact that, I mean, and I know that Jay Wolf will probably be on here saying, oh, it's the old Russian-American battle on New Year's Eve. It's Soldatkin versus Bader. But no, it's not even close to that. I just think that Soldatkin would give Bader a better fight than Samolchiyuk would. And that's not to basically lift the leg on our Polish buddies, mainly Daniel Dzubecki. But still, though, you know, I just think that Soldatkin will provide the better challenge compared to Samolchiyuk if the worst comes to worst, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
But other than that, as far as heavyweight fights that actually have interest, you know, now that, I mean, let's just go ahead and take the train off the tracks just a little bit. There is one other heavyweight fight taking place on this damn card, and that's in the second fight on this card, Kosuke Kindaichi versus Theato Bambalor, representing Senegal, and from Takumi Furuhata, Bambalor is the guy who's training with Edapolo King.
Got it.
And they're basically trying to build each other up. In the case of Bambalor, he's a former Senegalese wrestler who is trying to make waves in MMA. I don't know much about Kindaichi, though.
He's fought in Breaking Down.
Oh, of course. And Rising wants more of those names from Breaking Down to join the promotion.
And rightly so, because they have exposure and they have a fan base.
Exactly. Not to mention, in the case of Kosuke, he is 6 feet. No, let's just say he's right around 6 feet tall. He's 5'10", actually. He weighs in actually, why the fuck would he basically be boosting up? Oh, wait, actually, his last fight was at 220 pounds. So he has not fought as a actual professional fighter since 2021. But still, though, he has been fighting and breaking down as of late.
Mm-hmm.
But Kosuke is 5'10", 220 pounds. He is from the local prefecture area. He is from Ichinomiya.
That's why he's on the card.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's all to just sell tickets, so to speak. He's got an 11-2-2 MMA record. And, of course, he has not fought as an active professional fighter, aside from breaking down since 2021. Now, as far as the Senegalese wrestler goes, Bambalor, he's 2-0, originally from Dakar, Senegal, representing Roots MMA, and fighting out of, I think, Greater Tokyo, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, because that would be the same area where Edipolo King is fighting out of. But still, though, all we have on Bambalor is the fact that he's knocked out both of his opponents in about enough time to go grab a snack. So when it comes down to this heavyweight fight, a fight that, even the most stout eyes of heavyweight MMA can just look and see, hey, I think this might set the table for the shit show that might come with Marek versus Sodotkin. I mean, do you think that Bambalor has a chance to improve to 3-0 under the supposed joint tutelage alongside Edipolo King? Or do you think that breaking down is going to be the course of action for the evening?
I'm not sure, because I wasn't able really to find anything on Bambalor. Judging by the opponents, they were just, thrown to him. I would gather that he's strong, really strong, to be a former Senegalese wrestler, and he's obviously physically much bigger than his opponent, who has more experience. And from what little I saw of Kosuke, wild striker. So this could end pretty quick, or it could be boring as hell. It's going to be one of the extremes.
Come to think of it, once upon a time, Kosuke did fight at 155 pounds. So, that could be playing a factor into that. He's not used. I mean, yeah, he has boosted himself up in weight, but he's not used to fighting bigger opponents.
Yeah, especially someone this big and strong. It's going to depend on Bambalor's stamina. If he's got anything resembling that, he should be able to roll through Kosuke pretty handily, I think.
Oh, yeah, well, of course. Hopefully so. I mean, and it's not just because I would be one of those guys that would root for just everybody black. I mean, I'm just saying, this dude, if he plays his cards right, he could be the next thing out of African MMA since, Ngannou.
He looks like a Leviathan. How about that?
Yeah, you can say that. Now, let's go to the fight that everybody's going to want to talk about as the fight that'll definitely put asses in seats and eyeballs to screens, and that is Shoko Matsumitsu Sato versus the Italian gangster in his own mind, Danny Sabatello. Now, as far as Sato goes, I mean, I saw the interview with Hafid Darbaki, moderating the whole thing. It's available on YouTube right now. It's a head-to-head meeting between these two fighters. And as far as Sato, who just turned 38 as of a month ago, he's had 50 fights on his record. He's 36 years of age, fighting out of Naruto, Tokushima, Japan, by way of Yokohama, Kanagawa, Japan. And as far as his 37 wins go, 20 of those 37 wins come by way of knockout. Of course, he's a 3-fight veteran in Sengoku, 6-fight veteran of ONE FC, and he's fought in Rizin for most of the last 2 years, with his only loss being against Naoki Inoue. But still, though, he had a stellar fight against Social Kim at Rising Korea.
And that was an upset. I thought Kim was going to win.
I mean, like, to be honest, did you really think that Social Kim put enough effort to win that fight?
No, but I also think he just looked shop worn.
Mm-hmm. But still, though, the fight that got the interest of Danny Sabatello was the win that Sato had over Juntaro Ushiku. I mean, do you think that when it came down to that fight, and I don't know if you've seen the whole video of Danny Sabatello just shit talking him, just saying, "Oh, I hate you because you beat up my guy." I mean,
no, not really.
I mean, did you really think that Ushiku losing sparked the catalyst for Sabatello just to go on this little bitch fit?
Probably. I don't know. He seems to find reasons to get mad and psych himself up. So I guess whatever if that helps him, more power to him.
Oh yeah, of course. Now we go from the former Shudo champion in Sato to the former Bellator interim title challenger who lost handedly to Rafael Superstats, if I do say so myself. Not because I'm a fan of the guy, but still. Danny Sabatello made his Rising debut and by extension his Japanese return because his first fight in Japan was a submission loss to Tiger Magomedov a little over 2 years ago in what was basically his de facto Japanese MMA debut. He made up for that by knocking out Shinobu Ota in one of the premier fights of Otoko Matsuri at the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, that was a brutal finish.
I mean, what do you think Sabatello can do for an encore, even though you think that this fight's going to end via decision?
I think he can out wrestle Sato. He's a much better wrestler than Shoko Sato is, and he's physically stronger and more athletic. I just think he needs to use his physical gifts and just out grapple and out position Sato, because that's pretty much all there is to say about it. I think like Sato is going to have to fight a perfect fight and use all of his experience to weather his Sabatello's superior athletic ability and catch him with something. Because if it gets in close, Sabatello is just going to dominate position.
But all in all, let's just say if you weren't, cognizant on wanting a decision between these two, I mean, let's just say this. If you were to choose which round the former Boilermaker, as in Purdue University, Danny Sabatello is an alum of Purdue University, by the way. But if you were to choose which round Sabatello would finish this off, if a decision wasn't in the cards, what round would it be?
Second or third. I think Sato is very crafty, too experienced to be finished early. That's just my opinion, barring like a perfect shot.
Right, of course. And as far as, Sato goes, he's the one with the most experience. He said in the Rising head-to-head video that this fight is not about the belt. This fight is basically about trying to fight stronger fighters. I mean, let's just say if he does win this fight, what strong opponents do you think might be coming up to him next?
I could see him maybe a rematch with Inoue. I could see, depending on what they do, I could maybe see him fight Ryuya Fukuda.
I mean, you know what? That would be a good fight.
Like just two solid veterans. I think that'd be an intriguing fight for New Year's Eve.
I see. Because in the case of Sabatello, he wants the title. He wants to basically have all the fame, glamour, and glory. And then he wants to defend that title X amount of times.
him and if he wins, I don't see why you wouldn't give him a title shot on New Year's Eve against Inoue. I mean, Inoue's damn near cleaned out the division too.
Exactly. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Sabatello just goes on a long, torn gloat fest about it, saying, "Oh, I beat Shoko Sato. I want my fucking title shot."
Yeah, I definitely can see him doing that. That's definitely a Danny Sabatello thing.
Oh, yeah, of course. Now, come to think of it, I didn't really plan anything out for the rest of the card as far as those points go.
Okay.
So I guess we could just go ahead and just basically go with what we know by order of the fights. And by the way, since we talked about Kosuke Kindaichi versus Theodore Bambalor, that's another fight we can disqualify ourselves from talking about.
And let's just go from bottom to do you want to go from top, like from Umeno Ashizawa down, or from Tomizawa Hiramoto up?
I mean, we could go from Tomizawa Hiramoto up. In the case of that fight, Daichi Tomizawa versus Joe Hiramoto, Ren's baby brother.
Yeah. Joe is 2-1 in MMA. Daichi Tomizawa is 1-1. Tomizawa is representing Black Rose, if it still exists. And Tomizawa represents Mikuru's camp, Breaking Down.
And you know what? About Joe Hiramoto and about Black Rose in particular, I think they're overrated.
Very well, very, very possible. To me, it just came up more as a gimmick for New Year's Eve. But I would also say that for this fight, I thought Tomizawa, even though he lost to Ursin, I thought he showed some pretty decent grappling defense before he got choked out. Whereas Joe Hiramoto, I know he beat Toki Tamaru by decision, but he didn't look good in that fight against a kickboxer with no MMA experience. If Tomizawa's worked on this, and I have no reason to believe he hasn't, I think he's going to knock Joe Hiramoto out.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, in the case of Black Rose, the reason why I say they're overrated is because they thrive off just being trolls, being assholes, just basically being outright mean when they want to gain fans. And I say that in the case of the fact that I was just appointed to some post by somebody that I previously interviewed in Sarah from Germany, because as you probably may well know, if you listen to the interview, she is basically trying to go to Japan to become an MMA fighter, getting inundated with hate comments and posts by those ass clowns at Black Rose, when, to be honest, the last thing they should be doing is basically bashing the fans, knowing they need those just to basically have at least somewhat of a hold on this sport.
What did they say specifically?
To be honest, and I'm just going to basically say a sampling of some of the things that they said to poor Sarah, because, I'm going to probably put them on blast when I put out the full video for the interview that I had with Sarah. That's available to listen to in podcast form right now if you want to check that out. But still, though, long story short, they basically mocked her and just said, they were basically mocking her for her choices of just basically being a fan of Kai Asakura. They were basically calling her the R word, hard R, and by that I mean, remedial, not, but still though, point of the matter is, and Andrew is just chiming in saying, oh, to be honest, both of those guys are bad MMA fighters. Well, that's the point. Yeah. They want to give you a bad MMA fight just to basically get you interested in watching everything.
The thing about it is, out of both of them, Tomizawa, to me, at least has some potential. At least he's taking the damn thing seriously.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Joe Hiromoto, Ren Hiromoto's baby brother, is just basically being a fucking troll when it comes down to just some of the actions that, he had. And, I feel bad for Sarah out of Germany, who basically has to deal with half of this shit. But to be honest, if I were to pick a winner in this fight, I'd say, Tomizawa via knockout.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with too.
I mean, because if you remember correctly, he did knock out Kota Miura back in December
with that beautiful knee. That was nice.
Mm-hmm. In Kota's first 3-rounder in mixed martial arts, by the way.
Yeah. So for a 3-rounder that ended in what, like a minute?
A minute and 53 seconds.
Okay, so almost 2 minutes. So yeah, and as it turns out, Kota Miura is just not very good. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, let's basically move on to the rest of the card. And, the next fight on the list after Hiromoto versus Tomizawa will be Hiroaki Suzuki, the General Killer, versus the third Chinese fighter in Rising Fighting Federation history, second Chinese mixed martial artist in Rising Fighting Federation history, Yuele Huang. Now, when it comes down to Hiroaki Suzuki, this is basically just a gimme fight. Hiroaki is 5-6 overall. He is a former shoot boxing star, and surprise, surprise, he's from the prefecture, so he's just there to sell tickets. As far as Huang goes, he is 10-1 overall, fighting out of Chengdu, Sichuan, China, representing Enbo Fight Club. He is 8-1, representing the Wulin Fang promotion, and is the former Wulin Fang featherweight MMA champion. This will be his first fight outside of his native China. But still, though, long story short, Hiroaki has fought all 11 of his MMA fights inside the Rising Ring. Inside the Rising Ring or cage, might I add. His most recent fight was a win over Sora Yamamoto back in June at Rising Landmark 11 in Sapporo. Do you think this fight's going to be any different for him other than this just being a gimme fight for him?
Well, I did see a fight of Huang just to kind of see what he had. Impression I got is he seems to be a decent overall. I mean, he did finish one of his opponents, like the opponent I saw by guillotine, so has grappling talent. And we know Suzuki's issue is takedown defense and grappling. If he can get it to the ground, could be interesting. But Suzuki should, in theory, be the better striker. But Suzuki's also, 41 years old? We don't know if his reflexes are shot yet.
He'll be 41 by the end of the year, but okay. I can see your point. His reflexes may be shot to shit, but it's about time that he finally deciphers, if I even want to do this any longer.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Huang by submission.
I mean, are you sure about that? Because as far as his record goes, yeah, he's 10-1. But only a good portion of those are via finish, and only 2 of those wins are via submission.
I'll go by submission just because I don't trust Suzuki's grappling.
Yeah, I can understand that. Plus, when it comes down to Huang, his most recent win was via a ninja choke at Wulin Fang MMA 84. Back on May 10th. So, make it make sense, right?
I think that was the fight I saw of him. So I think that his willingness to do that, I think he'll be aggressive. And if Suzuki leaves his head exposed, he'll go for something like a ninja choke.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. But as far as Suzuki goes, speaking of somebody, again, who doesn't have much shelf life left, how soon do you think that Suzuki will put the gloves in the center of the ring and call it in?
Well, if he loses this fight, it might make sense to retire in his hometown, home prefecture. So we'll see. I don't know. But if he loses, I could see it being the end for him.
Oh yeah,
at least MMA wise. I think he said he wanted to fight in shoot boxing one more time during that 40-year anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, it definitely makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, Caesar Takeshi's able to get those guys to stay or come back. So good on him, and we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Moving up the card now, your basic reminder that Yusuke Yachi still has a place on the Rizin roster as the former Rizin lightweight title challenger.
Twice. Or once, was it? No, yeah. Once. It was once. He fought Satoshi twice. That's why.
Oh, yeah, of course. Still, though, he who fought twice in Bellator as well, he will basically... No, actually, he didn't fight twice in Bellator. Oh, yeah, actually, he did. He fought the first fight under Rizin rules, though. But the point of the matter is this. Yusuke Yachi will face off against somebody by the name of Kai Bilal Haga, who is of African-Japanese descent.
Former Grachon champion.
Oh, yeah, of course. And he is originally from Aichi, so he's bringing asses to the seats. But still, though, Kai Bilal Haga, 28 years young, born November 22nd, 1996, originally from Aichi, representing Master Japan, fighting out of Tokyo. He holds a professional MMA record of 6-4, but most of his wins come by way of decision. He's more known for fighting 3 times in Pancrase, and of course, he is the current Grachon lightweight champion, not the former, the current.
Okay.
Plus, he's riding a 6-fight winning streak after going 0-4 as a professional mixed martial artist to start his career. So, nice little comeback story for somebody who basically started from the literal bottom.
Oh, so he's kind of like Bernard Hopkins, who lost his first 2 fights and then did what he did.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and also, as far as known names go, as far as the win column, he beat former Rizin competitors Atsushi Kishimoto and Daryl Lukoku, the Honey Badger.
Tyrone Matthew?
No. Daryl Lukoku, the guy from the Congo.
I know. I'm just messing with you, Chris.
It's okay. But still, though, point of the matter is Yusuke Yachi has seen a lot of mixed results as of late. He's gone 2-2 in his last 4. I think basically the last time he's had a decent win was when he choked out Dark Rakuto Shirakawa. But other than that...
And an undersized Shirakawa at that.
Yeah, of course.
But regardless of Shirakawa's talent level, he's still undersized.
Yeah, of course. But other than that, he got choked out by Mansour Bonarwi in Paris. He defeated Sho Patrick Usami back in September of last year, but lost in a handedly ass whooping in Taisei Sakuraba's first MMA fight back on New Year's Eve 2024. I mean, to be honest, let's just say this. Yachi's basically coming into enemy territory as far as he's fighting on his opponent's home prefecture. I mean, do you think that this fight might be a make-or-break fight for Yachi if he wants to continue his MMA career?
I would think so, but they seem to book him whenever he wants to have a fight, so I don't see this being the end for him unless he wants to retire. He should win this fight. More experience, better grappler, or better striker. I saw a little bit of Bilal just to see what his deal was. Seems like he's a decent grappler. That's really all I could find of him as far as footage. So it's hard to say. But I'll go with Yachi by decision.
I mean, I can see that fight ending in a decision, but I think that Haga might win because most of his last 5 fights, most of his last 5 fights, sans a first round armbar submission victory over Kengo Fujimura, have all been unanimous decision verdicts. So, I won't be surprised if Haga wins via decision. No, I'm going to pick Haga to win via decision, but I won't be surprised if Yusuke gets to win, by some form of technicality.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, this fight could either be really interesting or really bad.
Yeah, of course. Now, we got 2 more fights to put over here. Let's go ahead and talk about one of them. That would be Ryo Takagi versus another fighter making his Rising debut, Kisa Miyake. Now, Kisa Miyake is the current featherweight king Pancrase champion. Actually, just recently defended that title for the second time in his career, beating our good friend, who is now a happily married retired man, the rich Hirotaka Nakata, back at Pancrase 354 back on June 1st. First round knockout, 3 minutes, 48 seconds. Other than that, he is a native of Aichi, Japan, so yet another hometown fighter, basically looking to fill seats. But he's currently riding a 5-fight winning streak. 3 of his last 5 come by way of first round knockout. Of course, the other 2 come by way of second round knockout, but still, point of the matter is this dude has his work cut out for him. And we all have seen how Pancrase champions have fared well in Rising so far.
It is it's a big step up in competition for Miyake.
And as far as Ryo Takagi goes, he is from Tokyo, representing Paresta Hachioji, 26 years of age, born September 12, 1999. He is 8-3 as a professional mixed martial artist. 6 of his 8 wins by way of knockout, 5 of those 6 in the first round. But he's coming off of a decision loss to Kiyoma Akimoto back at Otoko Matsuri,
which was an awesome fight.
And oh, by the way, he also shares a win via knockout over Hirotaka Nakata, so at least they share a common opponent. But when it comes down to this particular fight, I mean, I know that Miyake is basically coming in just to fill seats, but do you think that Takagi has the upper hand?
He should, because of he's fought better opposition and was competitive with them. I would say I was able to find a fight of Miyake. He seems to be a pretty decent striker, and that's what primarily Ryo Takagi is too. I know that Takagi beat Hagiwara by RNC, but it's Hagiwara. So consider the source there. I think this is going to be a good fight, and it's going to be a really good stand-up fight. But I'm going to go with the superior experience in bigger events, and I'm going to go with Takagi by knockout.
I mean, I can go with Takagi via decision, but it's only because of the fact that, again, it's like we emphasize, Takagi has more experience fighting in Rising compared to Miyake. I mean, that's not to basically put, Takagi down, because Miyake is a current champion of one of Japan's original big-time promotions.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew is basically chiming in the comments saying, oh, this is an unofficial King of Pancrase title match, you guys. I mean, you wouldn't be wrong, Andrew. But then again, I'm extending the olive branch for you to come on and speak your piece. But still, though, point of the matter is, I think this fight just might be interesting.
I agree.
Where Andrew gets that theory of this being an unofficial Pancrase title fight, because let's face it, if Takagi does win this fight, he's not going to Pancrase to take that belt off of him.
No, but Takagi came from Pancrase, so that's why.
Oh, interesting. I mean, that's why they share a common opponent in Hirotaka Nakata.
Yes.
I mean, that's not to basically disrespect our boy, because we hope he's enjoying a nice and luxurious life. And now that leaves us one more fight to talk about. And, when you think of Genji Umeno, Yabaidaro, you think of weird entrances, you think of all types of hijinks. Oh, and Andrew's chiming in. Jesus the champion, Takagi is from Pancrase. Yeah, we know, dude.
Isn't that what I just said?
Yes, that's exactly what you said. Andrew has been watching, he just hasn't been paying attention. But still though, point of the matter is, last fight we're gonna talk about, and then we're gonna and Andrew again chiming in. I'm actually surprised that Pancrase allowed this fight to happen.
Maybe Miyake wants to move on to greener pastures.
Oh yeah, of course. But then again, look at Takashi Sato basically comes to mind. Look what the fuck happened to him. No, better yet, Yoshinori Horie comes to mind. Look what happened to him. He got one and done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're going to see plenty of that.
Yeah.
Well, you already have, and then the cheap labor, we'll put it like that.
Oh yeah, of course. And now, finally, we can talk about Genji Umeno's antics and how would that affect him against somebody who's known for antics.
He ain't gonna he's not gonna psychologically outfight Ryusei Ashizawa. No way.
Yeah, of course. But at least this troll fight will just be that. A troll fight. It's just gonna be crazy entrances. Catfish Ashizawa was gonna pull his Roy Jones Jr. shit and perform himself down to the ring while fighting in Venom shorts.
I'm hoping he raps.
Yes, like Roy Jones Jr. did back in the day.
Yeah, y'all must have forgot.
Nah, I was thinking more of And Steel when he fought Clinton Woods. But
yeah, Mr. Unbelievable, Mr. Unstoppable.
Yeah,
what was it, Mr. Unbelievable, Mr. Unstoppable,
And Steel, Mr. Untouchable, And Steel, yeah. Mr. Unbeatable, Mr. Unbreakable,
Mr. Unbreakable. That's right. Yeah. and yeah, because y'all must have forgot, I knocked Virgil Hill out with a body shot. So I actually thought that was a good lyric. But anyway,
of course. Going back to this fight here. Joking aside, Ashizawa was 2-2 in mixed martial arts. All 4 fights have been in the Rising Ring or cage, but mostly in the Rising Ring. Umeno 1-0 as a professional mixed martial artist under the Superior Rule set, beating Tiger Kawabe at Rising 49, another kickboxing to MMA transfer.
Because K1 can't pay the bills.
Yeah, of course. And this is a fight between 2 K1 kickboxers, or in the case of, or in the case of the fact that Umeno has also fought in Muay Thai.
And Rise.
Yeah, of course. And in exhibition boxing. I mean, this is
against Ren.
Yeah. This is just basically a striker's paradise, wouldn't you say?
It would, unless Umeno tries to grapple, but Ashizawa, has some experience, has more experience now, well, relatively speaking. I am looking forward to this fight because I do think both of them are going to keep it standing. I think Ashizawa is going to make Umeno fight because Umeno has a tendency to be really boring, but Ashizawa is aggressive enough and he knows how to goad people into firefights. And I think that Ashizawa is going to use his length and that jab to set up the right hand and knock Umeno out.
Now, when it comes down to this fight, obviously it will be hopefully a striker's paradise. But let's just say, if you were to give this, obviously, who would you say is the winner? But if you were to give a round of when this fight will end, what would you say would it end at?
I'd say first or second. I think that with those gloves and the striking ability of these two, and anyone can get knocked out at any time because Umeno can still punch. But I think Ashizawa is faster, and he's got a height and reach advantage. And regardless of him holding his hands down, Ashizawa does have a very good jab.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, to be honest, I know I give Ashizawa a lot of slack just for how he acts, and I basically try and tune himself out. I basically try and tune him out whenever he tries to, be a troll. But considering the fact that Ashizawa has more experience in Ryzen as far as MMA goes, I wouldn't be surprised if he does get the win over Mr. Yabaidaro Genji Umeno, because, when it comes down to it, Umeno's only had one MMA fight, but a whole lot of kickboxing, boxing, and Muay Thai experience. I just think that Ashizawa has what it takes to just, shut Umeno up for good. He did that to the samurai Shoji Maruyama almost a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Ashizawa, in that fight, he used his length effectively. So that's what he's got, as I said, not to beat a dead horse, but he's got to do it again.
Yeah, now Andrew was chiming in again saying, well, Genji's been so far an exciting MMA fight.
Oh, he has, absolutely. But like I said, I think that Ashizawa's going to make him fight.
Mm-hmm. I would at least hope so, because, for all the stuff that's on this particular fight card, we got a mix of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Hopefully, this fight will be at least somewhat good.
I expect it to be entertaining, if not the fight itself, then the entrances.
Oh, yeah. If not the entrances, then if they get enough time after winning the fight, then hopefully the post-fight will be something interesting.
Yeah, overall, this is an excellent card on paper.
Except for the heavyweight Grand Prix final.
Yeah, but maybe it'll surprise us. Even when you lay eggs, sometimes you get a gem.
Oh, yeah, of course. And the old saying, you got to turn chicken shit into chicken salad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even if it's inconsistent, the golden goose eventually lays eggs, a golden egg.
Oh, yeah. So now that we basically talked about all 14 fights on the card, and again, we're not fully interested in the prelims. You can watch them at your own risk if that's what you want. Oh, and Takumi is saying, good to have Batun time. Hi, desu ne. But still, though, now that we previewed all 14 fights on this card, which three would you say is going to be the ones you're going to be looking forward to?
Do you want three?
Yeah, three.
I'm looking forward to Umeno versus Ashizawa because I'm intrigued by kickboxer versus kickboxer in MMA. As Andrew likes to say, we could see some really good shitty grappling. That is very possible. I'm looking forward to Ryota Kagi versus Kisa Miyake because it's two young fighters fighting for recognition and potential upward mobility in the featherweight division. And third one, I am really looking forward to Shadulayev against Kolesnik. I think that's just a phenomenal fight on paper, and I think it's Shaduleyev's hardest fight in Ryzen so far.
Oh, okay, understood. Well, title fights aside, I'm looking forward to Sato versus Sabatello because I'm basically looking forward to seeing if the shit talking actually means something interesting. I am also looking forward to most definitely Babalor versus Kindaichi, especially considering that Babalor is, strong Senegalese ex-wrestler. The dude's looking to be something great in the future down the line, at least hopefully. And, without saying a specific fight, I'm looking forward to both of the I'm looking forward to both of the flyweight Grand Prix finals. Semifinals. Because when it comes down to that particular style of fights, when it comes down to those two fights on the card, not to disrespect Yamamoto versus Ito too, but when it comes down to those two flyweight Grand Prix semifinals, Ogi Kubo versus Alibek, Montoya versus Shinryu, I do think that those two fights, have what it takes to turn a diamond into something incredible.
Yes, I agree. I was also going to say about the heavyweight Grand Prix last time I'll mention it. You hope that it turns into something resembling Holyfield Bow. But more likely than not, it's going to end up being Chris Bird versus Freza Kendo.
You know what? I think I remember both of those. Well, I definitely remember the Chris Bird Freza Kendo fight.
Oh my God, that was freaking putrid.
I mean, to be honest, I grew up watching some of those old school boxing matches with my family, more specifically my dad. Those fights were just, it was just something about those old HBO fights of the 90s and 2000s that just excited you.
Yeah, because the production values and the presentation and just the fighters and matchmaking in general and the commentary of Lampley and Merchant and Roy and George Foreman were second to none.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm just saying, like, those are the two extremes of how this fight will play out aesthetically.
Oh yeah, of course.
I hope they over-deliver. I really do.
If anything, I just hope that we'll be in for something incredible. Now, seeing the fact that we have a little bit of time left, you want to just go ahead and give a little preview about what the fans can expect for Rising Landmark 12 in Kobe, which, oh, by the way, is taking place 2 days before my 33rd birthday, November 3rd, from Galeon Arena in Kobe, Hyogo, Japan.
Which has 10,000 seats. So it's bigger than Kobe World Hall, which I think is like 8,000, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. And it's going to take place on a Monday, which is going to be a national sports holiday, I think, right?
Yes, I believe that is correct.
Mm-hmm. But the fight that was put onto this card at the last moment is the first ever Rising title fight taking place in a cage.
In Japan.
Yeah, in Japan. That would be Seika Izawa versus Saori Oshima.
Finally.
I mean, now this basically gets me to asking, if we can go ahead and give a little preview of this fight. When it comes down to this particular fight, Izawa, as we all know, undefeated, afraid of fighting Reina Kubota, but Reina Kubota's injured. Let's just say, if he does defeat Saori Oshima, could she be moving up or moving on?
I think moving on. There's literally, unless they get some people from if one is getting rid of or at least downsizing their MMA product, and they can get some of those fighters, I don't see what is left for her.
Because in the case of, again, that damned one championship, they're getting rid of rankings for certain divisions.
I read that was a mistake and that those rankings are still there. I could be wrong, but if that is the case, but it's pretty obvious they are downsizing their MMA product. That's goes without saying. A couple of those fighters would be decent additions to the super atomweight division if they can make the weight. But other than that, there's really nothing left for Seika to do.
Other than to potentially, excite the fans abroad.
Yeah, or fight Rena, as you said, but I don't think that's going to happen. So, honestly, just have her vacate the title and move on.
Because it would give more opportunities to ladies fighting, not just in Japan, but overseas around the world, an opportunity to go to one of the only stops for actual 108-pound women's atomweight MMA to go.
Yeah. Although, to be blunt, I think Seika might be too small for 115.
Of course she would be too small. Look at what happened to Jin Yu Frey when she joined the UFC after her one fight in Rising and her defenses of the Invicta Atomweight title, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, like either way, this is it's an excellent fight. I'm happy it got made finally. We'll see. I mean, Oshima can definitely hang with her grappling wise, so it's an intriguing fight. That's I can't pick a winner here, not yet, anyway.
I mean, yeah, especially considering the fact that this fight card is about a month's time, about like
5 weeks time.
5 weeks time. Like, holy shit, I forgot. Like I said, I'm gonna be turning 33 2 days after this event. I mean, I don't know if I'd be willing to do a review on that or what have you, but still though. I mean, I'll probably think of something the week after. But still, the point of the matter is, when it comes down to this fight card, Rizin 51, if you were telling the fans right now, you have to see this card, what would be the main three things you would tell them as a way to have that sales pitch to fight fans just to buy the card?
First thing, watch Razbali Shadilayev, incredible young fighter, potentially, my opinion, has the potential to be a UFC champion one day. He is that good already.
Mm-hmm.
He just needs to keep developing, but you see potential greatness in him. Second one would be Roberto Satoshi Souza against Poirier, because Satoshi has become, in my opinion, one of the best grapplers to transition to MMA ever.
Mm-hmm.
I will go this far. I think he's on par with maybe not quite as, but very on par with Damian Maia, as far as being able to make that transition. And I think his striking was better than Maia's was.
As in making that transition from BJJ to MMA?
Yes.
Okay, that's understandable. And what would be the third?
The third one, I would probably say the Flyweight Grand Prix. You have two excellent semifinals, evenly matched, and the reserve fight, Yuki Ito against Ursin Yamamoto, records notwithstanding with Ursin 5-8, he beat Yuki Ito, dominated him 2 years ago. Can Ito, who's on a roll, avenge this loss?
Exactly. Well, the three pitches that I would give is, for one, you don't have to deal with the UFC that weekend. The UFC ain't got a show, at least for another week.
Yeah, I think they have one. I think there is a UFC that weekend, this weekend, actually. I could be wrong.
Yeah, let me go ahead and check.
Is it Dominic Reyes versus... Yeah, it's Reyes versus Olberg.
Oh, dear God.
Because it's in Perth. So it's at 10 p.m. It's going to be on the same time as Rizin.
So a lot of people are going to be more interested in watching that.
Potentially.
Oh, God.
Because the UFC is more about the brand nowadays as opposed to stars. I would give you a comparison. It's when Vince McMahon was booking WWE several years ago, other than John Cena, the brand was the star more than the actual wrestlers.
Well, that's understandable, especially considering the fact that, Vince wanted to boost the brand more than anything else.
Yes, I'm just saying, like, that's what it reminds me of. To churn out stuff like this.
Basically giving you, it's like what I said with Aniki MMA on that interview I had. It's like what John S. Nash said. They're basically giving you a tour and access of how the sausage is made, but then realizing the meat's not there, so they give you rats and sawdust. It's like a bunch of slop, so to speak.
It is. There's some good stuff sprinkled within, but it waters down the product. But when you're that entrenched, you can get away with things like that.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and speak.
I was just going to say, but the long term, the damage can definitely be done with that approach.
Oh, yeah. Well, I could just go ahead and I can just go ahead and redo my first start of 3. You're going to be getting the more entertaining option of the weekend
Yes.
because at least you won't have to deal with any bullshit when it comes down to,
ESPN Unlimited.
Yeah, not only that, at least you'll be getting straight up superior rule set action, as Jay Wolf would be inclined to say. For 2, you're going to be having the conclusion of not one but 2 Grand Prix tournaments on this card, even though one set of Grand Prix tournament semifinals is going to be far greater than the heavyweight Grand Prix tournament final taking place, because let's just face it, who would want to watch that? And as far as title fights go, you got 2 great title fights taking place that is surely going to be the big time fight card. No, that is surely going to be the true highlights of the MMA world once all is said and done, no matter how many heads are shoved up, TKO's ASS, so to speak. And Andrew is basically saying, too bad the Polish contingent are forced to watch Rising on a delay. And I've heard about that. That really, really sucks for them, especially considering the fact that in Poland, it'll be like, around 8 a.m. when this event happens live in Japan over there in Poland?
I believe so, yes.
I mean, come to think of it, that's just wrong to basically put it on for them in Poland that late. I mean, if it's going to be on a delay, is it going to be in prime time? Because I have a clock right here set up for me, and, it's a 5-hour time difference between here in my neck of the woods and the central time zone of the United States compared to over there in Warsaw, Poland. That's going to be crazy if that's the case.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid.
It is very stupid at that. But still, though, point of the matter is, we talked about this ad nauseum for the last hour, 45 minutes. It was a fun episode to basically do without anybody talking over one another or just, basically having any long form, drawn out conversations.
Yeah, just get to the point. Like these fights are really good. As I said, I think what I said pretty much sums them up. What we said sums them up. And I'm excited for Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Oh, yeah, of course. And before we close out the show, I know that you don't put over any social media because you don't have any.
Nope.
Is there any way that the fans can get in contact with you?
I'm on the Discord, We Are Rising Discord at Mr. Ohio.
Okay, and if you want to check out the Discord link, pause this video right now, or check the description of the audio portion of this episode, and you'll find a link to the Discord server for the Rising FL fan server. All we can basically tell you is don't post any links and don't be a jackass. But as far as I'm concerned, you can go ahead and, if you're listening to this, obviously, you can check out my links and the links for Focus Fights Audio or Focus Fights in general in the description of the podcast episode, first and foremost. And also, be sure to join my good friend and your good friend, especially, Mike, Andrew Benjamin, over on the podcast, as of course he basically devotes a lot of his time to putting over this fight sports world way better than I could, and he's the reason why I'm even in this. But still, though, if you can, check out all of his stuff. It's available in the episode description. If you're listening to this in the audio form, of course, since we're doing this live, well, live as we're doing this, as far as this recording goes, I'm going to have to basically hustle my ass off to basically do this in post. But still, though, all we can say, check out Rising 51, taking place this weekend from the IG Arena, the Aichi International Arena in Nagoya, Aichi, Japan. It's taking place at midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific on Rising.tv. If you got $20 on you, spend it wisely. Don't waste your time trying to watch the 4-letter network give you a 3-letter slop show.
But what about college football?
Oh, you know what? That too. I almost forgot about that because a lot of people are going to be, focused on college football that night, especially those in Hawaii, watching the Rainbow Warriors. I mean, all I can say is if you had enough action on Saturday night, you feel like you need a little bit more excitement, order this show.
Or watch preseason hockey.
Oh, God, that too. But still, though, it's $20 to get the show. It's $17 for a subscription to the Rising Premium Pass. It's available to watch on Rising TV, no matter if you're watching it live or if you're, unfortunately, like the poor folks in Poland, watching it on delay. But still, though, if you check this show out, I promise you, you're going to have a good time and you'll be investing wisely in the superior rule set and the future of Japanese mixed martial arts to come. But with that, I have been the Chillmeister Chris Gary for Mike Soltesz from Cleveland. I say to you in closing, peace, my peoples, in one love world. Keep fighting because you never know who might hear your story. Protect yourself at all times. And, of course, when it comes down to Rising, well, I already played the Lenny Hart soundbite, but the more support you can give to this promotion and the more support you can give to us and subscribing to this channel or checking out the podcast, because I realize that a lot of y'all be watching, or some of y'all be watching, but a lot of y'all don't be supporting. If y'all continue to support this show and support Rising, then I guarantee you we will reward you with some great talk about this great sport of ours called mixed martial arts and of the superior rule set in tenfold. Other than that, for Mike, I have been Chris. Hope to talk to y'all again real soon. Keep fighting, y'all.
Oyasumi.
Oyasumi.